What up, YouTube, and welcome to another edition of Nothing to It But to Do It. And like I told you guys from my previous episode, I'm going to talk to you guys right now about bad debt. Now, disclaimer right now, I did this whole thing before, but I realized my mic was messed up and it didn't look right, so I'm going to do it again. But I'm not going to go back through and write all this stuff down because, hey, this paper here is expensive. I'm not going to go out and buy new paper. Like I said, thinking I'm trying to save my money. Um, Now with the last episode, we was talking about the poor man's mentality. Now understand when I was talking about the poor man's mentality. You can be broke, but not have the poor man's mentality. Okay, if you got the poor man's mentality, you're gonna stay poor because you're gonna think, hey, there's nothing I can do about this stuff. You're gonna accept the bad debt, the bad credit, all the bad things that come in. But if you're broke, you know that hey, I can get out of this. I've just got to use the right tools to get myself from being broke. So this is going out to talk about the bad debt if you're carrying around the poor man's mentality. But if you're broke, this will also apply to you. Some of y'all might be saying, hey, look, I want to do this, but my husband, I want to do this, but my wife, my girlfriend, my boyfriend. Hold your horses in your carriage. I ain't trying to ruin your marriage. I just want you to pull back on the yoke so that you won't stay broke. Okay? And y'all can use that if you want to. Okay? And I know some of y'all sitting out there talking about how's Uncle Remus going to tell us about how to save finances. I don't care. I got two words for you, but I'm not going to say it on the YouTube channel. We're going to talk about this bad debt. One of the first things that, or I say number one, with having you with bad debt, and that is credit cards. Credit cards will totally devastate you and get you in that bad debt situation. And here's why. Credit cards seem like a very nice deal. Okay? Christmas time comes along. You don't have any money. You go out, you max out your credit card. You put $2,000 on your credit card, and you're feeling pretty good because come January, you look at it and your bill is only for $40. You're thinking that's pretty good. Out of this $2,000, all I got to put down on that is $40. But here's what you don't understand. If you pay that minimum payment throughout the whole term of that $2,000 balance, this is what's going to happen to you because you're probably going to be at the higher end of interest rates. So you're going to be paying 22% in interest rates, right? That 22% is going to take you about 30 years. Yeah, you heard me right, about 30 years to pay off that loan. And in that time, you're going to be paid $9,972.56 is what you're going to be paying in interest rates alone, which is going to make the total that you paid to that $2,000 balance, the total that you paid to pay it off with minimum payments is $11,972.56. Yes, you heard me correctly. If you pay that minimum payment. And here's the sad thing about it. Most people, probably over 75% of people in the United States carry a balance on their credit card. Now me, I pay my balance off every month, but I'm going to tell you that story a little bit later. But that $2,000 will totally wreck you by paying the minimum payment. And I know this by example. I'm going to tell you my story. There was a time in my life when I was broke. Now remember, I'm talking about being broke now. I had gotten rid of the poor man's mentality, but I was broke and I knew I needed to do something. My income that I got from my job had me negative $300 a month. What that means is all the money I was making at my job, when I paid out all my bills, I still owed $300. So I went to the credit card, and every month I would take off that credit card $300 to finish paying off my bills. Now, that was making this go up. I was paying a minimum payment every month, and I also decided, look, I got to get a different job because what is insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting the same results, that's insanity. So I knew I couldn't stay at that job. I've got to get a better job, whether I like that job or not. I've got to get out of this poor man mentality because I'm not poor anymore. I'm broke. So what I've got to do is I've got to get another job that's going to make me more money. It took me about a year and a half to get that job. Okay, all the extra money I made from getting that job, I put toward the credit cards. I started off with the high interest credit card first. Okay, paid everything on that one, while my other credit card, I paid the minimum balance on. Paid that credit card off. Once I paid that credit card off, I immediately took the extra money from there and moved it over to the high balance to pay that credit card off. And it took me about a year and a half, about a year and a half to pay that total credit card balance down to zero. And guess what? I've never carried a credit card balance since that time. And that was back in the 90s, people. And I haven't carried it. I have a credit card, but I pay that balance off every month. I do not carry a balance on my credit card. So if you don't have that discipline to do that, because 75% of the people in America carry a balance on their credit card. If you don't have the discipline to pay off that credit card every month, don't carry a credit card. It's not going to help you. It's only going to hurt you. Number 2, payday loans. Now, I've never had a payday loan, but I know friends of mine who have had payday loans. And I'm here to tell you that's worse than a credit card. Because here's what a payday loan does to you. A payday loan, and you notice I put payday loan here because at first I put payday lien. And the reason I put payday lien is because that's probably what's going to happen to your car. They're going to put a lien on it because you're not going to be able to pay these payday loans. Here's why payday loans are worse than even credit cards. They put you in a trap, okay? You go into the payday loan. They give you the loan with an exorbitant amount of fees that they're pretty sure you're not going to be able to pay off. So now you go in, you get your check, you go back in with your check, but you ain't got all the money to pay off the loan. So they say, that's okay. Give me a little bit on it. Give me a little piece on it. And what we'll do is we'll extend your loan. By extending your loan, they add more exorbitant fees onto you. Next thing you know, all you're doing is paying these fees as this payday loan gets extended, and extended. Okay? That is nothing but disaster. You're never going to get out of it. One of my friends who had a payday loan, the only way he got out of that payday loan, he stopped everything else. I mean, literally. I mean, he was making sandwiches. He wasn't doing anything but paying that payday loan to get out of that. That is one of the things, if you never started, don't. If you have started it, even before your credit cards, try to get that payday loan paid off and get out of that situation. Because that is nothing but a trap. And you notice they always have payday loans in what neighborhood? The poor neighborhoods. Because they're preying on the people with the poor man mentality. Okay? Understand, they're not your friends. Okay? They're there to take your money and to make a living off of you staying in financial peril. So stay off the payday loans. Number 3 for bad debt, new car. And I know some of y'all out there talking about, well, I got to have a car, but you ain't got to have a new car. Okay? Here's what happens. You get around to Social Security time. Okay? I'm sorry. You go around for income tax time. You get a nice income tax check, and you tell yourself, I got enough to put down a down payment on this car I've been looking at. So you go down there to the dealership, which is more than happy to take your income tax payment, because you ever know, do you see more salesmen around during income tax time? They're very happy to go take your down payment for your car, knowing that, hey, you might not have the money to pay for the car payments. They don't care. They don't care. They know if nothing else, they'll repossess your car. Here's the problem with a new car. The minute you take that car off the lot, it goes down in value. Fact is, if you try to go the very next month and go in and trade that car in, you're going to be upside down in what you can get for that car and what you own that car. Folks, go out and get yourself a used car that can get you where you need to go with the lowest amount of price that you can get, that you don't have to go in and get killed by having it fixed. I'm going to give you my own personal story again. Back in the time when I was broke, okay, got out of the poor man's mentality, but now I'm broke and I got to fix this. I had to get a car. I went and got a Ford Aspire. Some of y'all laughing, and some of y'all don't know what I'm talking about. If you go and look and see what I'm talking about, you'll start laughing too. That Ford Aspire was a cheap car, cost me low payments, low maintenance, and good gas mileage. Oh, I used to drive around in that purple thing. They used to call it the purple tick. That's what they used to call it. That car enabled me to get out of my bad credit card debt and start my way onto my financial freedom. So Do not go out and get a new car, folks. It's not going to do you any good. And even after the Ford Expire broke down, I didn't go out and buy a brand new car. No, no. As a matter of fact, I had a job where I was commuting about 45 minutes each way. I bought myself a Ford Fiesta. A Ford Fiesta with roll-up windows and stick shift. Because I knew I don't have the money to pay for a new car, all the expenses for it, and run up all those miles on it. And that Ford Fiesta, I drove that thing till it had over 150-something thousand miles on it. And it served me well. So therefore, bad debt is going out and getting a brand new car when you know you don't have the money to pay for that brand new car. Okay? If you're broke or you got that poor man's mentality, stay away from the new cars. Number 4, bad debt. The number 4 bad debt is money that is borrowed from friends or family. Yeah, you heard me. Stop going in, borrowing this money from friends or family with that old thing, hey, can you lend me $50 till the first of the month? No, folks, because nothing can cause as much problems as you borrowing money and not paying it back. Okay? I don't know how many times I've seen situations where somebody has borrowed money from someone. They go back to collect their money, and the person gets mad, talking about, man, you asked me about that little bit of money right now? Yeah, they're asking them about that little bit of money because it's their money. Okay? So if you don't want those kind of problems, do not borrow from friends or family. Now, if your friends or family give you money, that's different. Okay? They're not expecting that money back. They're giving you that money because they want you to have that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But if they're lending you that money with expectations to get it back, do not get yourself caught up in that situation. Now, I know sometimes you got to do it. But if you don't have to do it, do not set yourself up for problems with your family members from borrowing money. I don't lend out money to family members. I just don't do it. The reason why I don't do it is because I understand that, look, now that person's either going to feel like they got to dodge me because they can't pay it back, or they're going to feel some sort of way if I go and ask it back. Okay? But that's just me. But if you're gonna get money from friends or family, try to have money that they give to you, not that you borrow when you know that you're in a financial crisis and you know you probably can't pay it back. Number 5. Now this is going to be kind of controversial, but number 5 on bad debt is student loans. Now here's why I call student loans bad debt. When you're going to college and paying $150,000, $200,000 to get a college degree, and then you're getting a job that's only going to pay you $50,000 a month, you do the math. I cannot see how that is going to work out in your favor. Now, if you know coming right out of high school that you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or a electrical engineer or something like that, that's different. Okay, but if you don't know what you're going to do and you're starting off going to college, do not get yourself involved in student loans. I told my kids going off to college, I said, look, you need to get scholarships, have a job to go to a university. And then I'll help you out with the other things to take care of that so that you don't have to go out and do a student loan. And that's what they did. I said, if you don't have a scholarship or anything like that, guess what? We go into community college, junior college, because you can pay for junior college going out and having a job. And while you're at those 2 years, you can decide what you want to do during those 2 years' time. And you can be saving up money. I don't know a parent around that's going to be mad at their child that's staying at home, working at a job, paying their way through their community college, and also saving money to go to university. I don't know a parent that's going to be mad at one of their kids for doing that. But it doesn't make sense to go in and go to a 4-year university with a student loan, not knowing what you're going to do, or getting student loans and getting a degree in a job that is not going to allow you to pay that loan back. I know people who are my age and are still paying back their student loan. Because here's the thing about a student loan that people don't understand. When you declare bankruptcy, they won't let you wipe off the student loan. So you're going to be stuck with that student loan the whole time. So that's my 5 things. And I know there's a lot more, but these are 5 big things that I consider bad debt that you need to avoid. And if you can't avoid them, pay them off as quickly as possible. And do not repeat that cycle again. Hope y'all enjoyed this episode. If you do, give me a thumbs up. And if you really like where I'm going with the series, please do subscribe. Now, the next one we're going to be talking about from bad debt is bad credit. So that's going to be one that we're going to be talking about in how you get into bad credit and how you get yourself out of bad credit. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this series once again. And like I said, if you got bad debt and you're trying to eliminate it, folks, ain't nothing to it but to do it.